As I said before, we're going to be recording tonight's presentation, so please keep that in mind as you ask questions, and the panelists are advised. So good evening. Welcome to the webinar series called For Us, By Us, in which topics are selected and presented by our self-advocate members. Tonight we have a panel discussion led by 3 college graduates with Down syndrome and a parent. They will be sharing their experiences and how they successfully met the challenges of higher education. Future topics for this webinar series include competitive employment and social justice. But now it is my great privilege to introduce our panelists. All right, I got another, let somebody else in. Okay. First is Ms. Elizabeth Eisenberg. She's a 2020 graduate of the George Mason University Life Program. She earned a certificate in healthcare and early childhood education. Elizabeth has lots of work experience, to include being employed by DSA&V as a programs intern during her senior year of college. She has also worked at several preschools, served as a classroom assistant at an area elementary school, and as an administrative assistant in the office of the president of George Mason University. Elizabeth, you want to wave to everybody? She shows up as Mike Eisenberg on your screen, but we know it's Elizabeth. Okay, next is Miss Erin Thompson. She is a 2010 graduate of the George Mason Life Program and has been employed for many years as an administrative assistant by Rosetta Stone in Arlington, Virginia. She's a Buddy Ambassador for Best Buddies Virginia and serves on the board of directors of the National Down Syndrome Society, as well as on DSA&V's board. Last year, Erin made the important step of moving into her own apartment with a roommate. She's a very active self-advocate who has received numerous awards for her advocacy work. All right. Oops, more people are coming in. Okay, welcome everybody. All right, and last but not least of our student panelists is Ms. Charlotte Woodward. After earning an associate's degree from Northern Virginia Community College in 2017, she's now a senior at George Mason University, pursuing a Bachelor of Arts degree in sociology with a concentration in social change and inequality. She's employed as a community outreach specialist by the National Down Syndrome Society in Washington, D.C. She currently serves on the DSA&V Board of Directors and is a passionate self-advocate speaking out for disability rights at every opportunity. All right. Very good. And our final panelist for this evening is Mrs. Maria Eisenberg. She is a longtime DSA&V member and parent to Elizabeth. She became a strong advocate for her daughter's education early on in the process, as she will share with us this evening. Okay, so welcome to all the panelists, and we'll go ahead and get started with questions. The first question is, what did you do during your high school years to prepare you for college? Let's start with Erin.
Okay.
Make sure you unmute your phone, Erin.
I got it.
Yeah, she's talking to Aaron.
Oh, sorry, Aaron.
Erin, not Eric. Erin, do you want to take the first question? What did you do in your high school years to prepare you for college? Or do you want to see? Okay, let me see. I think she might be having trouble with her phone being muted. Let me start with Elizabeth. Oh, there's Erin. She's ready. All right, are you ready to talk about how you prepared for college in your high school days?
Yes. I went to Paul VI Catholic High School, and I took supported classes in the options program for students with disabilities, and I took general education classes too.
Okay,
In
okay.
school, I learned how to organize my schedule, class requirements, and supplies. I also learned how to time manage and be responsible for my schoolwork. I advocated to take general education classes and got involved in yearbook, of course, and other activities. I also did some dog training and volunteering. This gave me many inclusive opportunities.
Wonderful. Thank you. So the key there was definitely some general ed classes, and then some engagement as well. Very good. Okay, Elizabeth, would you go next? Do you see how to unmute yourself, Elizabeth?
Yes.
So share with us what you did in high school to get ready for college. You got it. You're unmuted.
You're unmuted.
Okay. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
About my mom. Well, my years from high school is amazing because I did a lot of fun activities and I did a lot of fun and science classes and courses. And I did pencil pals and I did when I did pencil pals we get to go somewhere together and we did a lot of more things and how prepared me to go to college that I feel prepared, that I can feel ready, that I do like PCP meetings, IEP meetings, that be on time list. And I also took the ecstasy, the way that I can speak up for myself and to figure things on my own way.
So problem-solving skills, you took some challenging classes. Didn't you say high school biology was the tough academic class to get through, right?
Well, yes, but sometimes it can be hard, but I also conquer it. And I'm very proud what I have been doing from the past of all 4 years in high school. And I've been some of the proudest I can be. And I also took the active seat, the way that I spoke up when I needed help or having assistance. And I am more than ordinary that I feel that I can do this, that I feel much more prepared for it.
Prepared and confident.
Yeah.
That helped your confidence when you got into the difficult challenges of high school, huh? I mean, college. Okay, very good. Thank you. Charlotte, do you want to take that question?
Well, what I did to get prepared for college. Well, I first have to mention that when I transferred from middle school to high school, the MR program director wanted me to be a part of that program, and but and that was based on my Down syndrome diagnosis. But of course, I stood up and advocated for myself and made sure I was a part of the general education curriculum. I always made sure that the goal of going to college was included in my IEPs. I also did not learn about standard diplomas early on, um, which, which is a lack of which sets people up for minimum wage jobs or sheltered workshops, and had to push to be able to go down this path.
Sorry, I was being respectful and muted while she was talking, and I forgot to unmute. I said, thank you for mentioning the standard diploma. That's something that we had people from the Department of Education come out and tell us that a lot of decisions are made on the standard diploma or not fairly early in a student's career. And as a community, it would be good for us to help get the word out that to have these conversations earlier than you think in a student's career. So thanks for bringing that into the conversation, Charlotte. Okay, and then finally on this question number 1, Maria, would you share the parents' perspective on what you did to help get your daughter prepared during the high school years for higher education? Don't forget to unmute, Maria.
There, I couldn't find myself. I still don't know where I am, but that's nothing new. Can you hear me now? We can hear you. Okay. Elizabeth went to Paul VI High School, like Erin did, based on its reputation of academics and social skills. I think as a parent being involved on the sidelines, we had a parents group that was just for the option students, but at the same time to be involved, not just in an isolated group for that, but to be involved in the whole school community. We felt the more Elizabeth was integrated into the school community in everything, the better. We pushed. We didn't have to push too hard. I mean, they're open to that. That she have as many regular classroom, general ed classes as she could. And I think my whole philosophy was that she'll learn what she can. They have a peer mentor program, so it's a student in the classroom that also helps, keeps them on the right page. Stressed reading from day one. I figured the more she can read, and it proves, if that's the right word, to other people that you're capable. It's just the way, we're kind of based on reading, and certainly to be in a classroom and to be able to read the material or be able to follow. So that was a big emphasis of mine right from the beginning. So, okay.
Very good, thank you. Okay, question number 2, we'll cycle through. Once you got to college, what challenges did you face and how did you solve them? Erin, let's start with you again.
For my freshman year, I really had to learn how to strongly advocate and communicate for myself more. I learned to talk to instructors when I was having problems. I also had to learn how to get around campus and where to eat meals. When I lived on campus, I had to set my schedule, get to classes, do the class work, and to get my meals, and to do my laundry.
That's right, and she made a subtle point. I hope everybody caught that as she had academic challenges, She went and talked to the professors. She didn't lean on a counselor or on somebody else. She did it herself. She established that one-on-one, and you got good support from the teachers and the aides.
Yes.
Yeah, good, very good. Well, thank you. Okay, Elizabeth, same question.
Okay, so when I was at George Mason University, and I also do more dancing stuff, of course, that's really incredible. And when I was a freshman, like from all 4 years, I am so very happy and so proud of that I can both speak. And as a student, I'm also like, I feel very conquered what I'm doing to accomplish. Like, what is the most hardest for me? Like, if I have a class that is very far away and I'm gonna get lunch, I go and find a seat to sit down that's next to and set my alarm so I can be on time. That it needs to be like nearby or close. But sometimes with all the dancing I was having or the most hardest, I can admire what I found. I'm getting the sense that I'm like when I need something, I go and ask for assistance or any support that I can give. That would be the most helpful way how I can handle things and how I know how to solve and face that situation. I know how to conquer things in my own way. Like, I can do this. I'm the most such a student who can speak up for themselves, and I want every student to do the same thing. That I know exactly that people can have the confidence.
Perfect. And when you advocate for yourself, did you find that you developed a good rapport with the instructor then, or your professors, so that they would see you as competent and standing on your own 2 feet?
Yes, I did that really pretty good job because I feel so much better when I feel something want to get off my chest. I need to figure out something what I can do that is the right thing. Like, okay, I need to work this out and I need to
Absolutely.
go to the right person.
Which is what everyone does. Very good. Thank you. Charlotte.
Well, I too would always establish a good rapport with my own professors. I started at Northern Virginia Community College, and I liked it there. After taking 1.5 years off for heart transplant surgery, I came back and earned good grades, enough to make it on the dean's list, honor societies, and to graduate summa cum laude. Then I transferred to George Mason University, where I earned straight A's and was the first person with Down syndrome to be inducted into the International Honor Society for Sociology.
Is that all?
Well, the first semester I took 4 classes, which, even though I did well in all of them and made the dean's list, was too stressful and didn't leave time for other activities. From then on, I took 1 or 2 classes a semester, which was a better plan for me.
Sure.
Even though it took me longer to graduate, I even had to take a 1.5 years off because I had a heart transplant. It made the most sense for me.
Sure, sure. Well, accommodations, those were accommodations you needed. Accommodation of time. Nothing wrong with that. Not a thing wrong with that. Very good. Maria, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
I think Elizabeth went to George Mason, also was in the life program. She lived at home, which is certainly an option for anyone that's considering that. And we just tried to make her at-home experience learning as many as the independent skills that she would have to learn in dorm life. The biggest challenge for parents is, like I brought up the other day, is that it's independence. You know, you're not going to be there. No one's going to call you and say this, that, or anything else. You'll actually find out there's laws that protect them, even if you're a parent, even if you do have a guardianship or whatever. And it definitely puts them out there on their own. There's good support people, and Elizabeth was very good to find support people. Early on, it's a big campus, and don't ask another student in the life program where to go. Find somebody that knows where to go. So you iron those things out. She eventually took the metro from Vienna. There's a shuttle right to campus. So that was an independent step to learn how to navigate public transportation. The biggest challenge is for the parent, I think. They're fine. But anyway, it's all new territory that you're not right there. I never had to help her with any kind of classwork, and there's people there that do that. So it's not your job anymore. And I was glad to retire from that position. So, I think learning those skills in high school to be an independent worker are key. If somebody doesn't like academics or anything, that might not be the way to go. But anyway, so those are some words of experience.
Thank you. Thank you. Very, very important. We have a lot of parents on the phone tonight. And okay, very good. Okay, question number 3. What did you do outside of class to make your college experience and your life afterwards better? Erin.
I worked at the Mason newspaper at the Broadside for 3 years and worked with great people. I learned how to write newspaper articles and have work team responsibilities. I was an active in Best Buddies, volunteering for events and activities. I worked at the Ark in Northern Virginia when school was on break and in the summer. I learned great office skills and self-advocacy skills.
Okay.
I also did a lot of public speaking and advocacy for people with intellectual disabilities in Richmond and on Capitol Hill. I also did special in Olympics, soccer, basketball, and track and field.
Is that all? Excellent. Okay, fit mind, fit body, right? Very good, very good. Okay, Elizabeth, your turn.
Okay, so what I did outside that got me very involvement that I got to do in internship that I got to work on CDC and I did Best Buddies. I got involved in And I also did a lot of good things from Best Buddies. That we go somewhere and we get to do go to the movies, something like that, or go bowling. That's also another one that I got involved in. And from outside, from college experience, some of my experience were from like working at Zion Development Center and working at a Sirius Community Center. And I also work on preschool that I was an intern. And then I get to do things that is outside, like we're going like to cross the street and I get to hold someone's hand. That is also part of the day. And it always will be always great opportunity to have that I admire a lot of the great experiences and opportunities I'm having, and I'm very grateful for all the things that I'm doing. I'm very happy.
Excellent. So you had some of your out of class experience that you had while you were in college was internships. So that related to, you know, your ability to get employment afterwards, right?
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you for sharing that. Charlotte.
Well, Northern Virginia Community College has a transfer agreement with many colleges and universities in Virginia. If you graduate from Nova with a certain grade point, you can transfer, which is what I did, and now I am a student at George Mason University. I have always loved to learn, and I don't procrastinate with my assignments. My parents always supported me and my studies. My mom has always made a point to try to be in touch with or meet my professors. My mom and I usually do reading for my classes together so we can have intelligent conversations and discussions about the topics, and she can help me study. Too much study can lead to burnout. I got involved in sports, acting classes, chorus, ballroom dancing, and advocacy work on a lot of issues. To balance my schoolwork, I also work at the National Down Syndrome Society as a community outreach associate.
Very good. We were discussing earlier how important it is to do advocacy work even at a very young age. So families getting engaged when the kids are very small, and then Charlotte figured out that advocacy was something she wanted to do as a young adult and got started early. So excellent. Very good. Okay, Maria, do you have anything to add to this question?
I would just ditto what these young women have said. I mean, get involved, all different types of volunteer work. If there's no employment available because of age or whatever, or COVID or something, I mean, try to do as much, volunteer work in different areas. It can be certainly with ARC, DSA, and V, but try other things too. See what they like. Be involved if they're interested. Special Olympics, Elizabeth has been involved in that. Art Stream, if we belong to Port of Charities, which is a advocacy group, a faith-based group, anything. Because each one is going to present another learning experience and also social experiences, which I think are key. But they sound great. I mean, they're busy.
They are. And the social aspect is important as it also brings mentors, links to employment or other ideas. And Charlotte, my sisters and I all went to college together. We studied together all the time. Absolutely. Okay, very good. So that's that one. And our final question, if everybody appears to be on mute, but I'm still hearing some background noise. Final question, what did you do to help build good relationships with your college classmates while you're in school? Erin, do you want to answer that?
Sure. It was fun to get to know my classmates. We would hang out in the dorm or on campus, go to movies, go to campus, and sporting events, dances, and eat out. I love my college experience. I really learned how to be much more independent and proud of all of my accomplishments.
Very good. Very good. And you stated when we spoke earlier that that the independent living during your school days is what gave you the confidence to strike out on your own as an adult. So very good. Very good. Okay, thank you, Erin. Elizabeth, do you want to answer that question?
Yes. I would say that pretty good relationships with my friends from college that it's given me a sense that, oh, we could be a family with this. Like having a family, like to be social and having the most best conversation that we can have had. And I would say I want to thank my parents for me to be there because they did so much for me, and I want to thank them for the best. But I just want to admire all of that for all the good social things that my mom has said. I definitely strongly agree with her about being involved and all the great things that we have did from college years. Definitely a great experience. And I'm starting to feel that we're growing a family, like a brand new family that we are having, that I'm getting more understanding that it's really great to be there, but I know it's the best way to have a great, same thing with all parents, that they're getting great for the children, and same for the new freshmen and new upperclassmen, that they should show them well exactly, like, okay, let's have a conversation. Let's how are we going from this? And I'm getting more understanding what my mom's trying to say. I really am.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Charlotte, your turn.
I spoke to my classmates about the challenges people with disabilities face, about the need for social justice. And thus relationships were built.
Excellent. Okay, Maria, bring us home. Well, if you want to, that's more of a student question, but if you have anything to add, please do.
Just encourage social interaction. I mean, especially during this time of COVID, so that it's very easy for our population to get isolated. And I'm just very thankful that there are cell phones and social media. I mean, once they know how to use it and know the safety rules and stuff, it's been a lifesaver because Elizabeth's on all day interacting. And I think during this time, it's very dangerous if, especially for the younger ones, if they're not adapt yet at, you know, try to have group, like have a Zoom party, do something, but because of COVID, it's been tough. I think it's tough on our population, but, you know, do what you can. Don't be totally no phone, no iPad, no, you know, this is their lifeline right now. And as long as you supervise and know what's going on, great. Like Elizabeth says, she loves to have conversations. So anyway, that's my 2 cents there.
Thank you. Excellent contribution. Okay, we will open it up for questions now. If you have a question, you can wave or you can put it in the chat, whichever. Okay, I see Eric's hand up. Go ahead and unmute and ask your question, Eric.
Man, you guys so awesome. Many, many questions. I like it part. Well, okay. Well, by the way, well, are you saying about high school and college? That's okay with me. But my question, my question, my question is how so I was like no, okay, so the best buddies and down syndrome, two together together, and they ask many many questions or they're talking about high school and middle school or college, life program, the like the Down syndrome. This is share with you and my friends. So this is share with you.
So you want to, are you asking them to share, or you said that you wanted to share yours?
With them.
You wanted to share with them.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Who else has a question? Or, yeah, a question. Elizabeth, do you want to say something?
I do, and that's kind of very the same thing with my parents that I definitely agree with. And I want to say that I'm starting to really feel that I want to thank my parents what they all have been doing. And I'm starting to really feel that my parents is doing so much for me. And I want to thank them the most what they have done for me was exactly the always the same way that how I feel. It makes me the sense that I'm definitely understanding what they want to discuss with me and what's the most important. I want to be there for them. If I want to make things more easier for them because these are the most such as a daily parent that I ever had.
Well, I wish my sons felt that way. I think maybe they do. Yes, ma'am, Charlotte, go ahead. Yeah, there you go, Charlotte.
Oh, thank you. There is a question in the chat that says, do any of you have student buddies who you meet consistently for help with homework, or do you advocate solely for yourselves with your professors?
Good
My take
question.
on that is that I do both. I remember I had a great peer mentor at George Mason University, and the person was very nice. But I also advocated with my professors too.
Okay, that's both. So here's and Aaron gave an answer too. Now it's flying. Okay. Let's see. Marcella asks, were your roommates people with disabilities, or did you match up with people who were typical? Was it both? Charlotte, do you want to answer that one? And then Aaron?
Well, I didn't, I was not an on-campus student.
Oh, I thought you were. Okay.
I commuted to my classes.
Okay, you were a commuter. I'm sorry, I had that mixed up. Aaron, did you have, who was your classmate, roommate when you were in college? Make sure you unmute.
When I was in college, we had like a lot of classmates and students in the program, and we had to wave our hand when we wanted to speak and where we wanted to say something.
So when you were in the dorms when you were at Mason, is that right?
Yes. I was only a junior and only in my junior and my senior years, and I lived on campus for the 2 years in the
Right.
program.
That's what I thought. And did you have a roommate, or did you have a room by yourself?
I had 2 roommates and an RA.
Okay.
I had a roommate, Caitlin Donovan, and a roommate, Claire Phillips.
And were both of your roommates in the life program, or were they other students?
They were students in the program just like me.
Okay. And then you
lived
had an
in
RA.
multiple rooms.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Erin also added that she had to speak with some of her teachers when she was having a difficult time, both in high school and college. And you found that advocating for yourself worked well. It solved the challenges, right?
Yes.
Good. Very good. Okay. Have any of you tried getting employment with the federal government? If so, how did that go? Anybody? Did anybody apply for a government job? No?
No.
Nope. Okay. Okay. And Maria added that Mason has a mix, which is what Aaron, pretty consistent with what Aaron says. All right. All right. Anyone else have a question for our well-qualified panel here? Well, I would go ahead, Elizabeth.
And he's also saying that it's only most very important to know that for our parents that if we say something, we should not be too afraid to something that we can be heard. Focus on what I don't understand you. That means we gotta have to speak up for ourselves. But sometimes for all parents. Some may not understand, but trying to make sure that their own children can also hear that they can be heard. And
Yeah.
that's the most important thing to learn us.
To get ready.
Yeah, and to feel prepared.
Okay, very, very good. Okay, Barbara Hoops asks, do you think there's a difference between graduating from the LIFE program or getting a typical degree when it comes to job prospects? Anyone want to answer? Any of the panelists want to answer that? Go ahead, Charlotte. Got to go off mute.
Well, there kind of is a difference between those two programs, because a general education curriculum leads to a better job opportunities, whereas the other program, where I've heard great things about, and just gives you skills and doesn't end up giving you job opportunities.
I only learned this recently. What Charlotte is saying is that the LIFE program is a certificate program, and so that's an option, and then there's another option to pursue a degree program. So thank you for that, Charlotte. And then Liz Mercado asks, are there specific majors in the LIFE program, or can you choose anything? Erin, do you want to answer that question first, and then we'll let Elizabeth take a turn at it? Erin, and don't forget to unmute your, yeah, thank you.
Is there like a way that you can to repeat that again, please?
Sure. She says, are there specific majors in the LIFE program, or can you choose anything?
I think that you can choose anything. When I was on campus, I added some classes outside of the program at Mason Life. I recently took a public speaking class, and I took 2 different kinds of competition classes, and 2 of those classes were a bit challenging and a bit hard for me, but I had to ask for like a lot of help.
Very good. Elizabeth, do you want to add anything to that?
I think I would, but that's very well said and well spoken. And I want to say that's really good advice to have and to keep. And that'd be a great idea to do and to learn. Like sometimes for every parent, like sometimes they have so much questions they want to ask, and they should to say it that it's loud and clearly and well spoken. And I think they're doing a pretty good job with it.
Very good. Well, I know from working with Elizabeth that that her concentrations lined up with internships, and definitely there's some job prospects there. But like any degree, you start one place and then you can morph into something else. But absolutely. Okay. Marcella asks, do other schools have programs like GMU? And it looks like the answer from this group is that only VCU does, without a residential component. And Barbara says she also looked at the Integrated Studies program at Millersville University in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and liked it. All right. And Erin wants to point out that Best Buddies is a good source that matches people with disabilities, with others for some lasting friendships. I know my son still is in contact with his best buddy from high school, and he's 29 years old. We still see her. And Maria says there are now many programs at most colleges, so something to look forward to. You know, lots of us start out with an associate's degree or start out with community college and then transition to something else. Oh my gosh, I have a son who is working on he has a lot of degrees. It's logical, it all fits together. You know, he hasn't been rambling around. It really is. It's been a progression, but that's the way it goes. Each person has their own. Each person has their own experience and their own path. Elizabeth, do you'd like to take the floor again?
Mhm. Well, I think I'm sorry for being a little off topic, but I'd like to rephrase this. But I think from being at Mason and having the opportunity and then the experiences, and I would say that that's pretty amazing. I would say, wow. I mean, like, I know I have a lot to say, but I can say it now before we do the vaccine, as we trying to say before. That I just want to say that being involvement, what Aaron has said was really incredible, amazing. What you have said about living on campus and talking to the RA, what they want to be needed or any guidance. That's also mostly important to have. And also accept. And I will let you finish where you have started.
Well, we have just a few minutes left. I thought maybe I'd give the panelists each an opportunity to have one last word. Since you put your hand up, Charlotte, why don't we start with you?
Well, I would just like to thank you, Mary, and DSA&V for hosting tonight's webinar. And thank you to the panelists and the audience. I am so happy that DSA&V put together the Bias for Us self-advocate series. So self-advocates can share with us and learn from each other and help educate others about things that are important to us.
Thank you very much, Charlotte, and thank you for participating. Why don't we I'm going to go to the left of my screen. Elizabeth, do you have one last comment or one last piece of advice you want to share? Make sure you go off mute.
Well, I think that's for the last one that I will like to say that is also the most very important, that we can all understand that all families and parents that it's really good to be aware and concerned about what's going on. And I think we're doing a pretty good job with it. And I think we're doing the most amazing how we spoke up, speaking for ourselves. And I admired a lot. And I will go the same advice. And thank you. And thank you for letting us to participate in this panel.
Thank you. Very good. Okay, Erin, do you have any last words, Erin?
If you have any questions, you can feel free and to like reach out to me and Charlotte and like Elizabeth and Maria if you have any questions to ask us.
Thank you. That's a kind offer. Okay, and if you can find Charlotte's and Erin's email addresses on the DSA&V website under Board of Directors. And if you want to reach Elizabeth or Maria, please shoot me an email and I'll put you in touch. Maria, do you have any final comments?
Yeah, I would like to just wrap up that, if you are thinking of college in the future, think of it as it's an experience after high school, as opposed to just like anyone going off to college, that it's not just necessarily, an employment thing, and that, employment will come, but that you're going to be getting a college experience on campus or off campus, that I think for our population that there's a lot of growth that's a potential post high school, certainly academically, but and socially. And I know just at the Life program at Mason, that many students do who are Fairfax County or whatever, they do, post high school, they'll go to the Davis Center or I think Pulley or one of the other ones. And then when their student is in their early 20s, then they go to the Life program. That works very well for a lot of people because, right out of high school, that's not necessarily what they may be ready for. So there's a lot of different, avenues, but I would look at it as really a post-high school experience. And that's very valuable. Anyway.
Thank you. That's an excellent perspective.
To be here.
So the question isn't why, it's why not. Every opportunities to learn and grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks to all the panelists. Really appreciate the time that you put into this. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us. And thanks to all of you who joined us tonight for showing an interest in supporting our self-advocates. Hope to see you at a webinar soon. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Go Cavs.
Go Flyers!
Hello, Aaron.
Hi, Eric.
Hello, Elizabeth.
Hi, Eric. How are you doing?
And I'm doing good. Did you get my Facebook messages of that I sent you?
Yes, we can discuss it on Facebook, okay?
Okay.
I was like your speech. I like it. It sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
But sadly, I am done by college.
All right.
So, yeah.
Bye.
Okay, Elizabeth. I'll see you soon. Stay healthy, okay?
Okay, bye, Eric. Take it easy now.
Bye.